Greetings, tubers. MZ back with you on a Sunday morning, May 27th, 2018. May 27th, 2018, broadcasting live and direct from the poor man's beachfront condo here on the edge of a continent in a nearby undisclosed seaside city next to the megapolis concrete jungle known as Los Angeles, California. Not happy about it, but here I am. It's too crowded. Too many freaking people in LA. Every time you turn around, it's a bottleneck. People, bikes, cars, animals, construction equipment, buses, helicopters. Just the air traffic alone will drive you insane. You know, we got LAX, there's an airport in Santa Monica. That's not what I'm here to talk about. I'm here to finish up this video, or just to do a part 2 on the Harmon Wilfred saga. The Harmon Wilfred debacle, I call it. Harmon Wilfred. Harmon Wilfred. Harmon Wilfred. I'll never forget Harmon Wilfred. The day I woke up. Thanks, Jason. Thanks, Jason Goodman, Traitor to the Truth. Jason said, fuck it, man. I'm going to crowdsource my own version of the truth. Fuck it. I should change the name. Crowdsourcing my own version of the truth. He's done a couple of shows with Quinn. Quinn always sounds articulate, intelligent, reasonable on Jason's show, but then just check out his own videos, man. He goes, is it the same guy? It can't be. It can't be. And Jason mentioned that he had a decrease in subs or something recently. Yeah, no duh. No duh. When you waste people's time on Harmon Wilfred and pretend to be legitimate, no duh, people are gonna start, withdrawing from you, dude. After they go through withdrawals from Charles. And if you think about it, the Sunday with Charles show, it's essentially the same thing. Week after week after week. Charles just says the same things. This is not how a charity should run. You cannot do this with a charity's money. It just, he goes over the same stuff. But I was all in. I loved it. I couldn't get enough of it for some reason. But if you think about it, he's just saying the same stuff. He just has a different tax return that week. But it's the same. He said, you can't, and he's got the hands, he's got those big hands. You can't do this with charity money. It's like, follow the hand. You can't do that. It was never legally organized to do that. It didn't exist. How many times he said, it didn't exist lawfully as a charity. So this is what they do, LARPers. This is the toolkit. Something in the toolkit. They latch on to a truth that they know everybody really wants to know. Something like the Clinton thing, right? They latch on to it, and then they'll give you all this good information that makes sense and is legitimate. But meanwhile, they're just doing it for some other reason that I know not of. For just trying to get views up, If you look at some of those videos, it's got 10, 20, 30,000 views. I guess you can monetize that somehow. I'm just a newbie on this video YouTube stuff, but thanks, Jason, for waking me up, and thanks for motivating me to make videos again. Sunday morning, May 27th. Tomorrow's Memorial Day. It's a big day. Big day here in America. I got this article somebody sent me. I was going to play it for you guys. It's about Harmon Wilfred. It comes from a magazine called Stuff, stuff.co.nz is the website, I believe. But, yeah, just check it out. Check it out. I should turn this on first. Harmon Wilfred defies deportation order. A failed American businessman who has been in New Zealand illegally for 12 years remains in Christchurch and has been made bankrupt. Harmon Wilfred, in his mid-60s, was in December adjudicated bankrupt by the High Court over $40,000 he owed a Christchurch law firm, Lexington Law Ltd., which acted for him on employment matters. In 2013, the Employment Relations Authority awarded several staff in Wilfred's former business based at Wigram Manor in Wigram about $60,000 for Wilfred's breaches of his employment obligations. Wilfred is trying to overturn the bankruptcy through an appeal, and in the latest legal maneuver asked the Court of Appeal to reverse a registrar's decision that he must provide security of costs of $6,600 before he can proceed. Not sure if that's New Zealand money or American money. It says dollars. There's a dollar sign. The Court of Appeal rejected the bid. Wilfred admitted he was insolvent, with $87,000 owing to parties other than the law firm, but submitted the effect of the refusal to grant him dispensation would extinguish his rights and be contrary to natural justice. Oops. The appeal court ruled that Wilfred had not established an error by the registrar and held Wilfred's appeal had no prospect of success. Wilfred and his wife, Carolyn Wilfred Dare, came to Christchurch in 2001 and set up a foundation, oh my goodness, to help families at the same time as taking interests in various businesses. His visitor's permit ran out in November 2004. America's first refugee. Here we go. Wilfred has been on the losing end of a raft of legal actions, including an attempt to remain at Wigram Manor despite owing $130,000 in rent. His company, La Familia No Number 2 Ltd., was trading as La Familia Function Center at Wigram Manor, was placed in liquidation in 2013, owing inland revenue nearly $300,000 and general creditors $246,000. His wife departed for Canada in 2015 when her business visa ran out and is embroiled in legal action against her family over her $50 million stake in the Dare Foods empire. She has applied to immigration. She has applied to Immigration New Zealand, NZ, to rejoin her husband under the investor program, but has been rebuffed. NZ has questioned the value of her proposed investment. Wilfred is currently living in a $1.4 million house in Lincoln. He renounced his United States citizenship in 2005 over alimony payments and other issues. He claims to have been a CIA contractor who was persecuted and had his life threatened after he exposed a big CIA fraud. An NZ spokeswoman confirmed Wilfred was illegally in New Zealand and had been served with a deportation order. He is under a legal obligation to leave New Zealand. This is a highly unusual case. It is not a loophole in immigration policy. Most states do not allow citizens to become stateless by renouncing their citizenship. In most instances, a person cannot renounce their citizenship unless they have the citizenship of another country. She did not answer questions about the steps NZ has taken to remove Wilfred. NZ has previously discussed Wilfred with American authorities over facilitating his return, but has clearly met with little assistance. Wilfred could not be reached before deadline, but last year told a South Island newspaper he had no passport and could not leave the country. He said he and his wife felt under siege and were left wondering when they could be together again. There you go. There you go. There's a little report from stuff.co.nz, online magazine, I guess, sent to me by somebody in the comment section. Take that for what you will. It sounds reliable. It sounds about right. Carolyn Wilfred Dare. It should be Carolyn Dare Wilfred, right? But she... Why, that's kind of an odd thing. And also, something I learned after my last video. When they're standing outside, before they're getting ready to go in, there's just too much time on this stupid video. Oh my God, I can't believe it, but. It's hooked me, and I can't get out of here. I can't get out of this Wilfred zone, this Harmon Wilfred zone. Jason Goodman. I'm trapped. Help. I'm trapped in the Jason Goodman Harmon Wilfred LARP zone. What the fuck? I'm just gonna prove my way out of it. That what a fraud it is, and that if somebody does something like this, Jason Goodman being the person is going to promote a fraud like Harmon Wilfred, then what else is he promoting? Then you've got to give him the gas face at every other interview, no matter how reputable, no matter how honest, no matter how many facts he presents. It doesn't. You can't do that, Jason. You can't do that, buddy. You can't go off on a LARP with Harmon Wilfred and then come back with Charles and think everything's going to be all right, buddy. It doesn't work like that. People are going to go, what the F? Dude, you were just down in New Zealand with Harmon Wilfred and, talking about chicken in the pot and Moses and the bulrushes. Dude, and the Brady Bunch and everything else. In the video that I covered in the last video, the previous to the last video, you get the point. Harmon says Carolyn's been gone 2 years, 8 months. 2 years, 8 months. But when they're standing out in front of the house, Harmon says, hey, look at that house over there. It was built a year and a half ago. And already it's changed hands twice. It's been bought and sold 2 times, he says. 2 times, he says. And Harmon says, yeah, we used to tease him, meaning him and Carolyn, right? I mean, who else is around? Nobody. So it's when he says we, he means him and Carolyn. You have to assume. He says, we used to tease him, how it didn't have any windows in the front and then had some long windows on the side or something. I don't know. It looks like a prison. Then they both crack up laughing at that. It's so funny. Ha ha, it looks like a prison. Harmon, you're so funny. It's so funny. It looks like a... What's funny? The house looks like a prison? What's so funny about that? And also, so how could we, meaning Harmon and Carolyn, have joked to that couple that their house looks like a prison if Carolyn has been gone for almost 3 years? How could that have been the case? What was she Skyping in to joke with those people about how their house looks like a... No! 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 Oh God, there's some dog running around. Oh Jesus, sorry about that. Got a little doggy daycare situation out there. So how could Carolyn have been around to joke with those people? She's been out, apparently she's been out of the country for almost 3 years. So that's another red flag. Harmon got his timelines crossed right there. And then another thing, when they're heading into the house, Jason jokes, he says, Harmon Wilfred, cribs. And Harmon bursts out laughing with a big belly laugh. Ha ha! And then Jason goes, do you know what cribs is, Harmon? And Harmon goes, no. Well, why the fuck are you laughing? What? You don't get the joke then. You don't get the joke if you don't know what the show is on MTV. Jason goes, what? They're going to Harmon Wilfred, cribs. And he breaks out laughing. Oh, that was just funny the way Jason said cribs, I guess. Just funny the way Jason said cribs. So, 2 more instances of like non-authentic behavior, reactions to statements that clearly have no comedy value, but still get a big laugh. I mean, come on. We know what's up. We know what's happening on that score. And then let's just see if we can continue on with this thing. I better turn it on.
Just crazy.
Here we go.
And if none of this complication with the CIA occurred, you'd be a citizen.
Okay, so we're picking it up. We maybe have a minute or 2 overlap, but they say, so if none of this thing had happened with the CIA, they refer to it as the CIA thing. You know, they just spent 6 hours, 8 hours, 10 hours of how much showtime? How much showtime have they spent on this subject, Harmon Wilfred's CIA connections and his gifted spiritual perspective that brought all these people to him as the one, the Neo. He's Neo. He's CIA's Neo. You're the only one that can cash these bearer bonds, Harmon. You're gonna, the Rothschild. He saw into his soul. You have a gifted spiritual perspective, Harmon. Right. So that's another pattern I'm noticing. They hook you in with the facts. Yeah, okay, CIA, they cheat people, they screw people over, they do covert things, they do illegal things. Yeah, that's all true, okay? They hook you in with this. Hey, we got a CIA story for you. Then they give you Harmon Wilfred. And then Harmon starts talking. As soon as Harmon starts talking about gifted spiritual perspective that he has and no one else has, then you say, wait, whoa. This is getting into Scientology land, which Jason is focusing on now. A lot of new Jason's videos are on Scientology. So, but they say that, sorry for the buzz, Jason says, both him and Harmon refer to all that 10, 12 hours of programming that they just did with Carolyn and building up the story. They refer to it as the CIA thing. That CIA thing. You know that thing. Just that little CIA blip, that little CIA thing. That doesn't make sense, man. That doesn't add up. It wasn't just a CIA thing. It's ruined his life, apparently, supposedly. Now it's just a thing.
By now, after 17 years.
Probably pretty easily. But honestly, if the CIA thing hadn't occurred...
If the CIA thing hadn't occurred, all of a sudden, it's not this monumental life disaster thing. It's just a little CIA thing. If that CIA thing hadn't, no. You say that about, if that flat tire thing hadn't happened, I could have gotten here after 30 minutes earlier. That's a thing, a flat tire or something like that. Not the CIA fucking you over, threatening your life, making your fear for your life. That's not a little thing. Sorry, I'm getting carried away.
And they hadn't joined with Canada, right? Colluded with Canada to try to destroy me and or kill me. God, for God's sake, we wouldn't have fled Canada. We wouldn't have fled North America.
Here he goes. So he's saying they threatened to kill him, but he's referring to it as just that little CIA thing, that little thing, that thing. If that thing wouldn't have happened, gosh darn it, that thing. Gosh darn it, that CIA thing.
Yeah, we wouldn't have had any of these issues. It's interesting. It's interesting how time goes on and everything has an effect on everything.
Well, let's continue through the house, shall we?
It's interesting how things go on and time has an effect on everything. Wow, profound. That's profound wisdom from Harmon there.
Sure. This is the family room, kitchen, dining room, sort of in one big room, which many houses nowadays have those sorts of designs.
Beautiful kitchen.
You cook a lot? What you get. I do, yeah. I enjoy cooking. I think I told.
Many houses today have that sort of design. They're all in one: family room, dining room, kitchen.
You when I was in those prisons that I did a lot of cooking.
Overemphasizing the obvious. Putting legs on a snake, essentially.
Yeah, you did tell me that you were baking and kind of improving your
baking in prison. He said baking cookies in prison. Darwin Wilfred was baking cookies in prison.
And everybody else's life there in the prison by doing that.
There's the kitty on a tree over there. Yes. That's Bella. She is a ragdoll cat.
Is that a type of cat, a ragdoll?
What's he doing? Is he washing veggies? What the heck?
Right.
He had time to prepare the chicken in the pot, but didn't have time to make his bed before Jason came over, which he mentions multiple times. My unmade bed in the master bedroom. I had to rush out. Just notice the things they say, the things they repeat, the things they point out. What is it? Nothing. It's nothing. It's just trivia.
It's fluffy.
It's Bella, good girl. Look at you.
So at least you've got some company here in the
Pink
house.
nose and blue eyes. She likes to sit on the top of her cat tree there and watch the birds. And then this is the formal living room here.
The formal
More
living room.
exercise equipment.
Yeah.
The formal living room. Remember we had a formal dining room? Now we're into the formal living room. I mean, this. What? Who thought Jason really thought this would be a good idea? Meet Harmon Wilfred. Did he really think this would generate sympathy for Harmon? Because it backfired. I got to question Jason's judgment here. And another pattern you'll notice with LARPers extraordinaire, they weave their story intricately into their personal life. Okay, so whatever they're reporting to you about CIA corruption or government corruption or whatever they're reporting to you, it's inexorably linked, intricately linked to their personal life. Okay, and that's another pattern that I'm noticing. You don't really see that. I haven't really noticed that pattern with Alex, but Alex does talk about his new young wife a lot, and sort of weaves. He sort of tells a lot of stories about that into his reporting. And Alex, I got to give it to Alex. Alex is indefatigable. If that's the word? If that's a word, he's just never stops, and he's funny, he's smart, he's passionate, he's interesting to watch, but you just gotta question some of the things he says. America was founded by Christians. I don't think that's true. Or America is a Christian nation. I don't think that's true. There was a separation by the founders of church and state for precisely the reasons that Alex seems to be using to say that it's a Christian nation, if I've got that right. And then also he denies climate change. Alex does. Also David Knight does, who does the Real News show on InfoWars. But they just dismiss it with one sentence. They never give you any facts, data, references, names to support it. They never provide any evidence to support their claims. They just dismiss it. And we all, joke as a joke, and we all know that climate change is a hoax. And I just heard Lionel say the same thing this morning on his show. We all know that climate change is a crock of shit. See, there's certain themes that they have and they push, along with all the true evidence and facts that they're presenting to you, and the comedy and the humor and the charisma that they all have, they all share. That's why they can drive these numbers so high, their subs and likes and views, and monetize that stuff. I guess that's what it's for. I guess, but I'm suspicious of an ulterior motive, an ulterior agenda by somebody who wants to push God and religion. You notice they all push in the God card, all of them, almost to a man, except Lionel. But Alex is big God guy, big God dude, and that has no place on a news program. I'm sorry. Religion, unless you're covering this as a news story, your own personal religious beliefs. Again, so Alex he wears his personal beliefs and his stuff on his sleeve, right? And that's a sign that, that's a red flag. That's a red flag. Why are you mixing my news and facts with your personal voodoo religious beliefs? I mean, I don't give a F what you believe in. Just don't mix it in with the news and information that you're presenting me with. Don't mix it. Don't mix it. Because if you do, I'm not gonna believe you 100%. I'm gonna look at you funny because it's unprofessional, in my opinion. Emo. Oh, I should turn that on. My engineer's out today.
Because it's a rental house, you're really not allowed to punch holes in the walls to hang things up.
Because it's a rental house, you're not allowed to poke holes in the wall. Well, yeah, if you're only renting it for a week or two, you can't do that. But if you got a year, if you're leasing it for a year, I think it's okay to go ahead, Harmon. I think they wouldn't expect you, if you're leasing a house, wouldn't expect you not to have pictures on the wall. So, and again with the weekly rent, what, you know, who rents $1 million house by the week unless you're only staying a couple of weeks just for the Jason video shoot? But was it even in New Zealand? I don't know.
A lot of the pictures and prints and things that we've had over the years and paintings we've had to store while we were sort of waiting for things to improve and to get back in our own home again. Of course, when we moved here, we bought a really nice home in Christchurch down on the beach in a place called Sumner. But that we ended up having to sell that when things started getting difficult, and we started renting then just to sort of wait until we got back on our feet. But that's
difficult. You mean with the government or financially?
Oh, financially because of the earthquakes and all the other things that were going on. So
financially because of the earthquakes and all the other things that are going on. Well, do tell, Harmon, what were some of the things going on? Do tell. What were some of those other things that caused you so much distress?
Talk to me about this statue over here. Let's look at that.
Here we go. Oh, we already did this. Oh, I'm repeating myself. Oh.
Let's turn the light on.
Jason initiates this Moses thing, which is interesting. And Harmon wants to turn the light on.
Sure.
How many times do they say Moses? Let's see.
That's Moses. Moses was hand-carved. He's solid oak. He's about 200 pounds of solid oak. He was hand-carved in 1928 by the Globe Furniture Company in Ontario, Canada.
Huh.
And see, I've got him in the bulrushes here, you see.
Yeah.
That's a weird laugh. I got him in the bulrushes here. What does that even mean? What's a bulrush? Leaves on a tree? And the Globe Furniture Company, where does this come in? Why does Harmon have such a lock on this information about this statue? And then we're going to get Carl's involvement in the statue also.
But he was in the family home. He was first in a church many, many years ago. And her father, Carolyn's father, decided that he wanted him in his entryway.
See, they always marry the story with everything's just overlapped between family and the news that they're trying to get to you. And
when they were going to tear down the church,
it's all just a sewer of.
So he managed to get it. And when I met her and we went to the family home, I saw Moses in the entryway and just fell in love with that.
That's kind of weird. He fell in love with Moses. The first time he went to the family home, he fell in love with Moses. That's who falls in love with a statue.
Wow. I said, if you ever decide you want to part with Moses, I want him.
You said
part with Moses, okay? Part. If you ever want to part with Moses, wasn't Moses involved in a famous historical incident where there was something of a parting at the part, like? But okay, I don't know what it means, but this is definitely heavy.
that to Carl.
To Carl, yeah. And when we moved to New Zealand, he and his wife back then, they were still alive, decided they would downsize. And they called Carolyn and said, if you want Moses, here he is. So we called the moving company. We had him specially crated.
Wow.
He had him specially crated, not just shipped. He was specially crated.
And it's got to be the largest body of water that Moses has ever parted.
So,
big laughs. Again, Moses parting something. Body of water.
your relationship with Carl Dare wasn't entirely adversarial.
Well, Carl was a very, how could you say?
Hearsay. This is all hearsay on Harmon's part about Carl. Carl's dead, so you can't libel the dead. So he can say anything he wants about Carl. Carte blanche. What's the point of it? Why talk about Carl? Who gives a F about Carl? This is about Harmon and his story and Carolyn. He may have been the worst guy on the planet, but he's gone now. So just carry on with your story. Leave Carl out of it, man.
Say this. He was pretty
I don't care. Carl's not here to defend himself. So Harmon can say anything he wants. It's driving me crazy.
objective fellow, generally speaking. I mean, I could sit down and have a decent conversation with him, but in the
Did you ever stand up to him, Harmon?
background, because I stood up to him on Carolyn's behalf a number of times, he was very wary of me, and he...
Harmon can be a tiger.
He did
if you cross his wife.
everything he could to try to get me out of Carolyn's life for sure, but
I wonder why.
it didn't work, obviously. Well,
Obviously. Obviously you won that battle, but look where you are now, Bubs. Look where you are now.
Was that because of the
Stateless, penniless, alone.
CIA stuff, or
yeah, partly because of the embarrassment, and mainly because I stood up to him. I mean, he had Carolyn under control, and at one point in time when he was showing her some disrespect, I jumped in him and said, "Hey,
told us about
you
that.
do not treat my wife with disrespect."
Right.
You know.
But he chose to give you the Moses. He didn't have to do that.
Well, he.
There we go, Moses. What are we up to? 7, 8 Moses name drops.
Gave that to Carolyn. He was very careful to parse things out such that it wasn't benefiting me. It was benefiting his daughter.
I see. All right. Well, let's carry on.
Oh, by the way, just having a look at Moses.
No. We're not. No, Jason. We're not done with Moses. Harmon's got a little story or trick he wants to play on you about the tablet that Moses is carrying. But he, as often as he must have played this trick on people, and as much information he has about the history of the statue and this and that, where it was made, how much it weighs, how it was specially created, he doesn't seem to have any information about why the numbers on the tablet are Roman instead of Hebrew digits, if there is such a thing.
One thing about Moses, most people have not been able to pick up.
What's that?
If you look at Moses...
Oh, God, stop with the Moses already.
What about him is historically incorrect?
Why are we talking about Moses at all?
His height?
No.
Beard?
No.
He's not wearing sandals?
No.
I don't know.
See if the audience can figure it out.
Well,
Roman
shove it up
numerals
your
on the plates.
bum.
Rome was, of course, many hundreds of years after that.
huh.
Can we get that snickering laugh?
There's only
Imagine why
3.
somebody decided to put Roman numerals on it. It should have been Hebrew numbers.
Right.
It should have been Hebrew numbers, says Harmon. Okay. I don't know about anything. Okay, if he says it should be Hebrew numbers, okay, whatever. But listen to what Jason says.
And there should be 5, I would
Well, either way, I mean, you can see they're sort of stacked, but I thought that was kind of a fun thing. Everybody tries to figure that out.
I don't know that I've ever seen Hebrew numbers. I've seen Hebrew letters.
Yeah. I don't know. Anyway.
Wait, whoa. Harmon, all of a sudden Harmon's playing dumb with us. Oh, anyway, I don't know. But meanwhile, he's the resident expert on this freaking Moses statue. Where it was built, where it was shipped from, where should have been rum. But wait, I don't know about the Hebrew numbers. Should have been Hebrew numbers. Are there Hebrew numbers? I don't know. Red flag. More red flags.
That's Moses, and Moses is sort of our mascot here. Moses, if you can feel it, there's a presence with him in here.
It's an impressive sculpture, for sure.
I mean, if you look at the details, right down to the veins, the fingernails,
yeah, I agree with that.
The folds in his robe, everything. When we first...
Way too much Moses discussion.
Dog,
Jason initiated.
The dog couldn't make him any different.
I notice I'm up to 33 minutes, and 33 is a magic number. I'm only 15 minutes into this 35-minute video. Getting a little hungry. I'm gonna stop this video right now and collect my thoughts. I'm getting a little worked up. That's my take on it. That's my take on I'll call this part 2 of the Harmon Wilfred thing. And just more thoughts and random thoughts on a Sunday morning, May 27th, 2018, broadcasting live and direct from the poor man's beachfront condo here on the edge of the continent. I'm your host, MZ. This is Who's the Savage Now. It's been my pleasure and privilege to present this information to you, my own particular stylings with my own particular brand of presentation. If you appreciate it, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Leave your questions, comments, concerns, suggestions, confessions, compliments, complaints in the comment section below. I will try to respond. I do not have a laptop at this moment, so it's very difficult, and my cell phone is a little bit, I just got a new one, but I haven't been able to go to the store to get it transferred, so it's a little difficult for me to get to the comments and stuff all the time. I'm trying my best to do that and to reply and to like and get in there and get all involved in it, but I wanted to just present my perspective on this. Again, I was a Jason Goodman supporter, believer, 100%. When he questioned H.A. Goodman and Lionel, I cut them out. I cut out Lionel pretty quick, but I'm still a subscriber to H.A., but I'm watching him close. But I was a supporter of Jason. Jason, up until the Harmon Wilfred thing. Once I saw the Harmon Wilfred thing and all the inconsistencies and the red flags that I'm pointing out to you now, I got off the Jason Goodman train right away as a reputable information source and remain off that train. So, and I figured if you know, I'm looking around now because the internet destroyed my old news sources. Once I found Jason, I found Lionel, I found H.A. Goodman, I found a couple of other people that I stopped listening to all my radio shows and my other internet programs. It's just like last millennium stuff. This stuff seems so fresh and live and real. And so now I'm just left wandering in the wilderness of news. You know, and can't go back to NPR, can't go back to KPFK, can't go back to this and that, and it's just not the same thing now. The internet just blew my mind about information and stuff. I thought, yeah, this is the new stuff. This is the new way we're going to get information. Citizen journalists like Jason Goodman giving us this information. Yeah, direct. He's going to Las Vegas. He's going to New Zealand. Look, he's actually going to all these places like Laura Loomer. All of a sudden she's in Vegas, then she's in Israel, then she's in Florida. I mean, who's financing this stuff? And those photos of Laura, it's almost like these are old color glossies of when she was trying to be an actress in LA or something. It's almost like her hair, the makeup, it's all a little too much. It's like that's not how a journalist looks, really. That's like how somebody who's trying to get famous. That's the looks. That's their 8x10 color glossy photo. What do you call it? Headshot that they leave at the agent's office, right? It's just little things that add up to big things, right? And that make you doubt and question. So I wanted to make this video just to show that I'm a real person. I'm not hiding behind my moniker or my handle or anything like that. I'm willing to come out and present the information as I see it. And that's how I see it. Until I get bought off by somebody, you can rely on me to give you accurate information, or at least accurate information from my perspective, the way I see it, the way I interpret it. Until somebody offers me $3, $4, $5 grand a month, I'm going to continue to do that. Until somebody offers me money to say something else. Until somebody offers me a monthly stipend to start talking about Jesus and God and climate change is a hoax and all. You'll know when I've transitioned over. As soon as I appear on Alex Jones, or if I'm ever a guest on Jason Goodman show, you'll know something's wrong. You'll know something happened to Who's the Savage Now. MZ, those are my initials. If you want to know my name, you can ask me privately. Doesn't matter. It's not Mark Zuckerberg. We just share the same initials. And it's Sunday morning. Tomorrow's Memorial Day. Have a great 3-day weekend, guys. Thanks for listening. Thanks for liking. Thanks for subscribing. And remember, try not to be savage about it, okay? Whatever you do. And let's get these LARPs. Let's get them all. There's a serious infestation of LARPs on the internet right now, and we've got to get them all. Have a great day. See you next time. Ciao for now.